Not even a year after losing the 2024 presidential election to Donald Trump, former presidential nominee Kamala Harris is the latest high-ranking Democrat to pivot from public allyship to throwing trans people under the bus. In an excerpt from the forthcoming memoir 107 Days, Harris noted her reservations about the, quote, fairness of trans athletes competing in girls' sports. According to the passage seen by Politico, Harris said she understands the, quote, concerns held by parents and how it's crucial for, quote, biological factors and unfair athletic advantages to be taken into account. And during her presidential run, the Trump campaign successfully mobilized against Harris for her pro-LGBTQ2S+ positions. One issue in particular was her resurfaced support for the legal right to medically necessary care for trans people in federal prisons and immigration detention, which became the subject of the infamous Kamala is for they, them ad campaign.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
But in 107 Days, Harris takes the opportunity to play both sides. While she writes that she is a lifelong ally to the LGBTQ2S+ community and that she couldn't, quote, turn on transgender people during her campaign, she also says the attack ad misrepresented her stance. It's not the first time that Harris has been wishy-washy about her positions. In an interview with NBC, she said she would, quote, just follow the law in response to the resurfaced views about medical care for incarcerated trans people.
Let me ask you this question, very broadly speaking here.
Sure.
Do you believe that transgender Americans should have access to gender-affirming care in this country?
I believe we should follow the law.
And then there's, of course, her complicated legacy as a federal prosecutor that gave many queer and trans voters pause against the hype following her nomination and the whole Kamala is brat era. But Harris's comments are the latest in a recent trend of Dems just asking questions about the validity of trans women in sports, from Gavin Newsom to Rahm Emanuel and Pete Buttigieg. And let's be clear, this hand-wringing about the fairness of trans girls in sports is not based in reality or facts, but in a right-wing moral panic that Democrats keep falling for in an effort to be more electable. And let's not forget that turning your back on trans people when it's politically convenient isn't the only winning path. Earlier this year, we saw Zohran Mamdani decisively win the New York City mayoral primary while enthusiastically supporting trans rights. According to the excerpt, Harris echoes the sentiment that Trump's anti-trans attack ads were a winning message that in part cost her the election. Now it seems that she's the latest Democrat to concede to that message at the expense of trans people.